AITA for walking out of my birthday dinner when I discovered that my cousin had been invited. Throwaway, I don't plan to stay on Reddit. My cousin Nancy bullied me severely during middle and high school. Nancy would call me names in the hallway, start rumors about me, and pressured other girls into not being friends with me. In my sophomore year, I ended up having a mental breakdown at school because of Nancy, and my parents stopped talking to hers for a long time. I still avoid Nancy and don't have any kind of relationship with her, as the only apology she ever gave me was not sincere. This year, my parents insisted on preparing my birthday dinner because we're getting reservations to one of my favorite restaurants. For every potential guest, they confirmed with me whether or not I wanted them to attend. This included Nancy. I told my parents that I didn't want Nancy there. Seeing her brings up a lot of bad feelings and memories for me. Plus, it was just meant to be a small family dinner with my parents, sister Grace, and grandparents. It wouldn't be odd to not invite a cousin anyway. My parents told me they understood, and that they, Grace, and our grandparents would be the only people there. But when I arrived last night, Nancy was sitting at the table between my seat and Grace's. My parents were begging me with their faces to just sit down. But I looked at Nancy, shook my head at my parents, and then walked out without saying anything else. I was incredibly upset because I specifically told them to not invite Nancy, yet they invited her anyway, knowing how miserable she made me. I kept getting phone calls from my parents and Grace, so I shut off my phone for the night. But when I turned it on this morning, I had many text messages from my parents, saying they were disappointed in me for walking out of my own birthday dinner. They said that I made things difficult in front of my grandparents, and I could at least tolerate my cousin since Nancy's dad, my uncle, did die only a few years ago. Even Grace texted me saying I could have shown respect to my parents because they waited weeks for those reservations, and I could have just called a truce with Nancy for a few hours since he hadn't said or done anything to me then at the table. My friends and boyfriend told me that I was within my rights, because it was meant to be my birthday dinner and they invited someone who I specifically asked them not to. So now I'm conflicted. Ida.